Hey everybody, if you're looking for a way to update your kitchen countertops on a budget, you may want to look into hardwood flooring. Now that's the approach Katie and I took in our RV kitchen, and today we wanted to give you an update on how they've held up after 2.5 years. Before we dive into the update, I did want to give you a little bit of a backstory. Now, when we were going through the kitchen renovation planning process, we just knew for sure that we were going to use reclaimed wood, and that was primarily because Steve, the owner of Memory Mountain in North Carolina, where we got married, actually had given us a ton of reclaimed wood. But we quickly realized that the thickness wasn't consistent and we didn't have enough to do our countertops. Now the good news about that is that we were able to use that reclaimed wood throughout the RV on different projects, but the bad news was that now we didn't have a way to create our countertops. So from there we thought, okay, we're going to go ahead and get butcher block from IKEA. Well, to be honest with you, when we were going through the renovation process, we became a bit obsessive with weight, and we tried to cut weight wherever we could. Now how that plays in is that once we looked into IKEA, we found that their butcher block was about an inch thick and it was pretty heavy. And when we looked other places, it was even thicker, and for some reason when you wanted a thinner version, it was even more expensive and took us out of our budget. Now, to be honest, looking back on it, we could have definitely used the IKEA butcher block and it would have been just fine. We know tons of people that use it, and it may be an option you want to consider. Just if you do go that route, just keep your weight restrictions in mind. But anyway, so here we are. We've had two options that just didn't work out, and then we came across the option to use hardwood flooring. Well, when we had to return our access flooring that we used for our RV, we actually on the way out saw this unfinished red oak flooring, and we thought that'll be perfect. So we went ahead and picked it up, headed back to the RV, knowing that we had finally found our option. I'm not going to go into a ton of detail on how we created the countertops because we do have a very detailed post over on the website. I'm going to put a link in the description box if you want to go check that out. But a real quick rundown is we picked up our hardwood flooring, then we picked up some 1/4-inch plywood, and we used the 1/4-inch plywood as a base, and we left holes for the stove and the sink. Then we took our flooring, and for our kitchen specifically, we elected to start in the back, and then we pieced it all together in the order we wanted. Now at that stage we used some glue and some nails to attach it, and then we grabbed some epoxy to fill in some of the bigger holes that were still in the flooring that we placed up here. Now after that we sanded it all down, added some trim, and then sealed it all up, and there our new countertops were. Before we started this project, Katie and I had a few concerns. Number one is it being high maintenance. So for example, you're not going to want to leave like cups with condensation or wet pans or anything like that out because it can create damage on the countertops. And number two is we read that once you go ahead and select your natural sealer for your wood, you're going to have to reapply that once a month for the first year, and then once every 6 months after that every year. Unless of course you notice your countertops are getting dry, then you may have to apply it more frequently even then. Now, some people had actually mentioned that they sand it down and re-oil it. So that got us thinking, okay, are we going to have to sand and re-oil the countertops every month for the first year and every 6 months every year after that? No, that's not the case. The sandings actually works to help get rid of any scratches or gouges or stains you may have on the countertops. But still, it does seem like a little bit of extra work to have to reseal it every 6 months. Number two is the amount of work it would take. So Katie and I had never taken on a countertop project, so we didn't know how much time and energy it was going to take to create them. And then number three is that once you start looking for the right sealer for your wood countertops, you're going to realize that there are a ton of different options out there, and there are a ton of different opinions on which options are the best. So we actually ended up narrowing it down a little bit because we knew we wanted to go with a more eco-friendly option, and that's when we came across the tung oil from the Real Milk Paint Company. And if you find yourself looking for tung oil, we definitely suggest you take a look at them, mainly because not all tung oil is created equally. But anyway, let's go ahead and dive into how our countertops have been holding up. We absolutely love the way that our countertops turned out. To be honest, I think they turned out a lot better than we expected, and they definitely bring in that rustic, warm vibe that we were going for. Now, the process itself is a little bit more time consuming, though it's not that difficult, and we actually really enjoyed the process of piecing it together. Now, what else is really cool about it is that if you guys do decide to go with an option like this, is it's easily customizable. You can choose whichever wood goes with the style you're going for, and you could even install it up here in different patterns. It's really easy to work with. Now, as far as budget goes, it was definitely cost effective. It cost us less than $100 for our RV kitchen, and we have plenty of tung oil left to work on other projects, as well as a lot of throwaway wood. Now, when it comes to maintenance, to be honest again, we definitely didn't stay up with it as much as we should have. I think we've re-oiled it only a handful of times, though we did use this method wood cleaner every day basically, and that really helped keep it shiny and clean and new looking. Though we're out of it now, so I can't show it to you, but I will leave a link in the description box if you guys want to check it out. Now, there are a couple things that have popped up, but they're more on Katie and I rather than on the actual countertops themselves. So when we chose our wood, I think I mentioned earlier that we went with the utility grade. Now, the thing is with the utility grade is that as you go through it, you're going to end up having to buy more, and that's mainly because a lot of the wood that's in there actually won't be usable. And if you do go ahead and grab that, you're going to have to sand it down a little bit more when you start, and then you may end up with pieces that are a little bit tattered. And we chose one piece to put over here that was a little tattered, but over time that's just kind of developed a little bit more. So we do have a little bit of a raise over here. So if we were going to do this again, we may go a grade or two up just to make that finding the right pieces a little bit easier. Now, another issue is over here, our faucet actually leaked for a little while. And when it did, some water got stuck back here behind here, which created some raise in the flooring and a little bit of discoloration. Now, luckily, we caught it quick enough, so it's not enough to where you can actually notice it when you look at it. But when you feel it and really look close to it, you can see it. But again, that's not at fault for the actual countertop that we chose to use. That's more the fault with the faucet and what it created. But anyway, overall, we're extremely satisfied with our countertops and the way that they turned out. And if you guys are looking to take on a task like this, we really hope this video has given you a little bit more information and let you know if it is something you want to do or something you don't want to do. Now, before I jump out of here, I do want to let you guys know one more thing, and that's that in our last few videos, you've probably seen me wearing our Mountain Modern Life shirts. Well, we actually got these made, and we have them up in the shop, as well as some coffee mugs. So if you guys want to go check that out, I'll put a link in the description box for that as well. But anyway, thank you guys so much for swinging by today. And if you have any questions about this process or how our countertop's holding up, definitely feel free to ask. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you guys again soon.